Good evening, race fans, and welcome to another edition of the Triple M Pulling Truck Series here live on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. Here tonight, it's the first race of the playoffs. Here, the top 20 drivers will take on Richmond. Here tonight, my name is William Tiller. I'm joined by the boss man himself, Bray LeBeau. And Adam Flieger will be the man providing all those wonderful pictures you see here tonight. And Brady, this is the first race of the playoffs. We've made it here already. Huck Whittington secured that last spot in there. But here we're going to have three races that's going to determine the next field going on.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct, Will. It's going to be exciting. These next 7 weeks, these guys are going to be going. We changed it from the top 16 to the top 20. So it's going to make it real interesting, the round of 20 to round of 14. Then we'll go down to 10. And then we'll have our final six instead of our final four, as we just saw in the Monday series.
Yeah, and that was exciting to say the least there, Brady, getting down to the 4, getting down to the 8, counting down to see if your favorite driver makes it on to the next round. But it looks like qualifying is all wrapped up. We have our official starting grid here tonight in the Triple M Pulling Truck Series. Starting off in the pole position is Jose Luis Rivera in that 20 machine. Second place here tonight will be the 29 of Keith Bradley. Starting third here tonight will be the 30 of Chris Cinnamon. Fourth would be the 86 of Kyle Hess. Fifth will be the 99 of Devin Painter. Sixth will be the 16 of Joey Doucette. Joey had one heck of a regular season, didn't come into these playoffs the way he wanted to, but here he's going to start sixth. Seventh will be the 4 machine Adam Newbert, the man with the most wins in this series this season, will roll off seventh here tonight. Eighth will be the 9 of Chris Blanchard. Right, ninth will be the 53 of CJ Fonda. And right on our top 10 will be the 42 of Ed Osborne.
Yes, and then in 11th we have Jacob Klinghart. Starting 12th is Taylor Peacock. Jonathan Pugh is going to be rolling off 13th. Dana Shepard, 14th. Stephen Thomas is going to be 15th, another playoff driver. Cody Knott will be 16th. Derek Kilgore will be 17th. Raul Meza, 18th. Robbie Richards, 19th. And Adam Newton, 20th.
Jumping right there, we see our last playoff driver right there in 21st position, the 00 of Huck Whittington. 22nd position will be Adam Newton. 23rd, Jeffrey Sickles. 24th, Blake Lothian right there. Eric Zimmerman, 25th. Justin Lumpkin, 26th. James Morris, 27th. Rounding out our field here tonight is Zach Hartwick and Brendan Bullock in the 28th and 29th positions, Brady. But here we go. What do you expect to see here tonight at Richmond?
Well, the guys have been aggressive all year long. That's somewhat of what got them here today. So you want to set the tone. Richmond is a tricky place to run. We'll see how the tires fare out. We'll see if fuel is going to be a factor. I believe they can go about 150 laps on a tank of fuel. It's 100% set for tonight. Don't count out some of those, part-time drivers. You got Kyle Hess up there. Great starting spot in fourth, but you got a lot of playoff drivers like Keith Bradley, Chris Cinnamon, Joey Doucette, and Jose Luis Rivera on pole.
Jose Luis Rivera with his best starting position I've seen in a long time. The 20 will take us to the drop of the green flag. He'll have the animal to the outside, but here we go, folks. We rev it up down to the start-finish line. The green flag is in the air as we already have a side-by-side battle down into Warren right now. The animal and Jose Luis Rivera both side-by-side into Warren. Field comes out of 3 and 4 single file all the way down the racetrack down to about the 7th position. Jose will lead us the first lap here in the books at Richmond. Right now we're already 3 wide on the racetrack right there. Joey Doucette's involved in that. We see Adam Newbert right in the middle of that. They fan out there. Kyle Hess in the 86 machine, and Brady, we're heading down the backstretch right now. Driver's already going 3 wide early on.
Yeah, we see some great racing early on. Everybody's track position is key. Oh, as we got our first caution right now.
Huge pile up right here on the racetrack here in the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. We see Brandon Bullock in the 17. We see CJ Fonda right there in the 53, the 93 right there as well. Huge pile up already, Brady. I don't think we were about 3-4 laps in there.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. We'll see the replay right here.
CJ Fonda right there going to be on the inside, Brady, and you see him. He's going to get a little bit of a bump from from the behind right there, going right into the entry of the corner, is going to send him to the back of the 9. And you see the 53 right there, Brady. He's already Tokyo drifting on the entry of that corner. And once those tires start to slip from you, it's hard to maintain.
Yeah, and I heard Jacob Klinghardt on the radio apologize to CJ. So, getting aggressive, getting in the back of somebody early. Ooh, looks like I can't make out what truck that was, but they got a little piece of damage. It seems like maybe that's the number 11 of Derek Kilgore. And it's just a checkup effect. Everybody's trying to slow down, avoid the wreck, and you've seen Brandon Bullock get turned around right there trying to slow down.
And maybe we can ride on board with the 11 of Derek Kilgore there, because as you were mentioning there, Brady, it looked like there was a lot more trucks involved in that than maybe what we saw there to begin with. Maybe it's the end of some of these drivers' nights already. Here, we're going to watch on board with Derek Kilgore here in the 11. Going to ride up to what this is already taking place here. You see the 5 of Jacob Klinkart right there on the view. Hard impact there. It's hard to see who that is in front of him there, Brady.
Yeah, we'll make out. Oh, Jonathan Pugh right there. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, Jonathan's not a playoff driver, but it's just misfortunes early on in this race.
Yeah, folks, if this is your first NASRA broadcast here on the NASRA 360 Racing Network, here in these races, these drivers have no fast repairs. What that means is that any damage that occurs during the race, you have to maintain that speed on the racetrack. Some instances, Brady, you might be retired from the race based on the damage that occurred. And looked like from that accident, we might have some trucks with some early retirements.
Yeah, it's very possible, Will. And they don't have the incident points. There's no limit tonight for the short tracks, so the big factor is going to be the minimum speed. A lot of these guys going to have to maintain minimum speed tonight, and if you can't, you will be asked to park it. So, we'll have to see who had what, as far as damage goes, and if they can keep up with the pack.
Exactly here, Brady, and as we're going down the backstretch right now, the pace lights are still on of the pace truck. Here tonight, everybody, we're going to run 35 laps in stage 1. The caution flag will fly. We'll get a break in the action. We're going to ride on down to stage number 2, 75 laps right there. 75 will bring us to the end of stage 2. Yellow flag will fly once again. Then, Brady, we're going to race it down to 175 at the end. That's 100 laps to complete this race. We're going to calculate in those green flag pit stops as well. These drivers will have 4 sets of tires, Brady. What are you seeing being the most exciting part of the race?
Well, pitting shouldn't really be a factor with the fuel. They'll be able to make it, so we shouldn't see any green flag pit stops if it was to go green. The whole way with the stage breaks and whatnot. It's really going to be track position is going to be the number one key. We've seen a number of drivers get pit stop penalties coming down pit road, speeding or whatnot, etc. So that's going to be real key, and it's going to see who can stay out the most trouble tonight. As you've seen on lap 3, we have caution.
And here on lap 7, green flag is in the air once again as Jose Luis Rivera in that 20 machine with his greatest starting position I've seen in a long time. The 20 will take us down into 1 and 2. Keith Bradley and the animal, the 29 machine right there on the outside is going to fall right back behind the 20. As now we're down into corner number 3. Back onto green here, Brady, as we exit 4.
Yeah, and Keith's going to kind of size up Jose right here. He's going to try to make him burn his tires up, maybe. We'll see if Jose can keep up on the long run. Keith's shown speed on the long run all year long, and Chris Cinnamon behind him, Joey Doucette, those guys. So it'll be interesting to see how long Jose can stay up here.
Yeah, right now, Jose still leading the way. Keith right there as well. Chris Cinnamon is in the mix. See Adam Newbert in the 4, Devin Painter in the 99s right there as well. And Brady, the one thing that was a bit confusing of those point settings coming into this race was Adam Newbert had the most wins, but he wasn't the regular season champion. That actually went to Joey Doucette in 16.
They were actually tied. They were actually
Oh,
tied. They were tied for the regular season championship, and Adam Newbert did get crowned those 10 bonus points because he had more stage points than Joey.
Okay, breaking news here, ladies and gentlemen. Here, the first playoff race did not know that nugget of information there, Brady. And, for Joey Doucette there with only one win in that regular season, had one of the most, I would say, consistent seasons, Brady. We're racking up so many top 10s, top 5s, didn't seem in victory lane so much. But I would say that last regular season race was sort of a rocky race with the 16.
Yeah, Joey showed a lot of consistency throughout the season, but at some point you got to have some bad runs, and towards the end, just some little mishaps that occurred to him, but you just want to put that behind you and keep moving forward, and it's these first round of 3 races. You just want to kind of go through it. He'll be fine, I think. He got 7 bonus points for finishing second. He's kind of up there towards the top, so you just got to beat 6 drivers, and I think Joey's capable of being, in that top 14 for the next round.
I think with the top 20 format here, it's really going to light the fire underneath some of these drivers here that may have coasted through that regular season. Just going to maintain, Brady. We've all done it. We've all been in school where you just get that C grade to get into the next class or the next grade. Some of these drivers here during that regular season may have been doing that, Brady, but I feel like here with the pressure on, we might see some guys maybe rise to the top here during these playoff races.
Yeah, this is when you got to show up, because you still, even though you're racing in these 3 races, you get playoff points, stage points, so that all still counts. So, if you're at the bottom tier, that first 6 guys out going into this week, you want to get some points so that you're not in the bottom, 4 or 6 going into the next round. So the pressure is on a lot of people, and then the pressure is off on some, like the Adam Newberts, the Keith Bradleys, the Chris Cinnamons, that had a lot of playoff points throughout the regular season. So I believe, that you're going to see some that's going to make some moves that they normally wouldn't make in a race, but that's part of the pressure of being in the playoffs and performing.
Here on lap 17 right now, the driver that is performing the best right now is Jose Luis Rivera, so leading the way, but we have a battle right now between a driver that you were just talking about there, Adam Newbert in the 4. He's on the top side with the 16, and Joey Doucette on the low side here, 18 laps in as we head down to corner number 1. This battle we're seeing on the racetrack is for a top 5 position on the racetrack here. They're still side by side, almost door to door right there. The money man there, Adam Newbert, coming off a series championship. The Ford machine right there wants to keep it going here on the Friday night.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris Cinnamon, Devin Painter right there in that 99 in the 4th position. He's doing a phenomenal job. I'm kind of looking, Will. I was looking through the pack and everything. I see some guys that normally you wouldn't see. I see Stephen Thomas is making he started 15th. He's up to 9th. Robbie Richards started 19th. He's up to 10th. Some of these guys are moving up in the field, and you got some that are moving back.
Yeah, and just spotlight another driver there as we're watching a battle right now between Stephen Thomas and Chris Blanchard there in the oh my goodness, as the 23 comes off of the corner, gets a little bit of the wiggles right there. Back to side by side racing here off of 4 here to the front stretch. You're going to make it lap 20 right there. Oh my goodness, 21 right now into corner number 1. But a driver that I feel like is really starting to get his bearings underneath him, really starting to put consistent races forward, is Taylor Peacock there. And that 81 machine currently in the 11th position. Looks like we have a truck on down the apron there, but the 81 machine, I would say here, the last couple races, I've really seen Taylor step up his game, get some good finishes. As we take a look at a truck, that's the 96 machine that's down on the racetrack right there, on the backstretch there. Brady, looks like the 96 is having some problems on the racetrack.
Yeah, that was the 96 of James Morris right there. I'm not sure exactly what happened.
I think I saw the 96 there sitting on that backstretch there for just a second before the 96 got them moving again. So maybe something went a little missed in the cockpit. Had to park that 96 for just a little while. But things are still rocking and rolling here. Green flag racing here as now we see Taylor Peacock there on the back bumper of Stephen Thomas, the 23. Taylor Peacock there, as I mentioned his name, he's now up 3 spots from dropping the green flag.
Yeah, and Taylor Peacock, he does very well in the short tracks. Bristol, Martinsville, Richmond, he just shows up at these short tracks. So, and shout out to Stephen Thomas. His family handyman come on board to sponsor this race. So 4 people will randomly get $25 at random finishes. Only me and Steven know the random finishing order. So we appreciate them coming on board and sponsoring this race.
Yeah, shout out to Family Handyman for sponsoring this, and shout out to the title of this race, Family Handyman 420. There we go here tonight. Brady has now the 81 machine is down to the inside, keeps thinking about it, inching that nose. Ooh, the 23 with a hard downshift into the corner right there. The 81 now is going to get that momentum around the exit of the corner. The 81 machine of Taylor Peacock's trying to advance positions. Now we're going to spotlight that 48 machine of Robbie Richards, a man who has eaten up positions here like Pac-Man eats up yellow dots on the game screen there, Brady. Robbie Richards up 13 spots with the drop of the green flag, but oh my goodness, that battle between Stephen Thomas and the 81 of Taylor Peacock is heating up right there. Almost had the 81 into the wall.
Absolutely. And as I'm looking on the front end of that Stephen Thomas truck, he's got a little bit of damage. So I don't know if he's fighting a little tightness there or whatnot, Will, but maybe that's playing a factor right now. But Kyle Hess, he's another one. I know he started fourth. He'll kind of fill out the race before he makes a run, but just running smooth and top 10 right there. And like I said, you see these playoff guys up here. It looks like we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The top 9 are all playoff drivers.
Yeah, things are getting very hairy right there for just a second there. Chris Simmons found a lot of speed here on the long end of this run right now. He's on the back bumper of the 20. Keith Bradley got around Jose Luis Rivera there as we were checking in on the field. He is now the race leader into the corner of the 29 machine. And Keith Bradley, boy, has he been a hungry animal here the past couple weeks. The 29 machine wants nothing but to be in victory lane here tonight at Richmond, as now Joey Doucette's trying to block off the 48 of Robbie Richards, who, man, just wants a top 5 finish here in this stage.
Absolutely. And these guys know that these stage points are the most important thing throughout the round, because extra points on the line, you want to grab those and hopefully carry yourself to the next round.
Yeah, as you see James Morris back on the racetrack there in the 96 machine, Devin Painter is going to do his best to cha-cha slide out of the way there of James Morris there on the high side. We're going to check back into this battle between the 16 of Joey Doucette and the 48 of Robbie Richards. Here we're going to cross this line. We're going to have 6 laps to go here in stage number 1 here in Richmond. Again, this is the first playoff race of the Triple M Pulling Truck Series here in the Nazareth Racing Network here as we're down the backstretch right now. Single file racing here, Brady. It's been particularly clean. We had one big pile up, but other than that, just a lot of single file racing.
Yeah, usually whenever you have a caution like that early on in the race, the guys tend to, calm it down a little bit. Everybody kind of gets antsy whenever the race, the green flag drops. But you kind of, the whole mood of the race changes once, you get a caution like that early on.
You see right there, that's Derek Kilgore that they're going to go ahead and move out of the way. Unfortunately, you saw the 11 involved in that caution that Brady just spoke about there, but that's going to open the door for the 48 Robbie Richards to use the 11 as basically a little bit of a draft tool, as now the 48 is going to go to the inside of the 16. A little bit of contact there on the exit of the corner. That's just rubbing is racing right there as now we enter 3 right now. What makes this battle so significant, folks, is right now this would be a top 5 finish in this stage, and Brady, we all know how important those stage points are.
Absolutely, and I expect Joey to race Robbie Horde right here, because you can not move on to the next round, by 1 point, or be tied with somebody as you saw in the regular season, and not have enough stage points, or them have more than you and not move on. So a lot of guys are going to be racing Horde for the stage point.
And folks, we don't mean to deviate your attention from the lead, but right now Keith Bradley has about a 2-second lead on second place. We can all but say this stage number 1 victory will go to the animal in the 29. Right now Chris Cinnamon is in second right there. Jose Luis Rivera, our pole sitters, in third. Devin Painter is in fourth. And Joey Doucette currently be our top 5 as we are 1 to go here in stage number 1. And that's going to bring an end to the stage right there. Brady's so quick around Richmond, and that stage victory goes to Keith Bradley. Chris Inman second. Jose Luis Rivera third. Devin Painter fourth. Joey Doucette will get that top 5 finish there in the stage. Sixth will be Robbie Richards. Seventh, Adam Newbert. Eighth, Taylor Peacock in the 81. Ninth will be the 23 of Stephen Thomas. And rounding out our top 10 there in the stage, Brady, was Kyle Hess in the 86.
Yeah, it's a great run for Keith Bradley so far. Like I said earlier in the race, Will, you want to set the tone and put a statement, to let the rest of the guys know, I'm coming to play. I'm coming to run these playoffs. So great job by Keith. Jose was real happy with him. Maintaining. Fell back to third, but like I said, stage points are important.
Watch the field head down pit road here. Again, Keith Bradley gets that stage victory. Very quick stage there. We had one big pile up there. Those drivers are actually back out on the racetrack. But as we watch those trucks head down pit road, we're going to step aside for our first break of the evening here in the NASRA 360 Racing Network. We'll be right back for stage 2 here in Richmond. Welcome back, everybody, to Richmond here on the NASRA 360 Racing Network. We just saw the conclusion of stage number 1 here in the Triple M Pulling Truck Series playoff race number 1, and that stage victory belonged to the animal himself, Keith Bradley, there in the 29 machine. He separated himself from our pole setter, Jose Luis Rivera, and Chris Simon there in the 3. Brady, only one caution there in the stage. Other than that, that stage flew by.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to get 30, 35 laps down at Richmond. But what's interesting, as we saw pit stops and we come back from the commercial break, looks like Adam Newton, Blake Lothian, and Dana Shepard's going to be staying out. We'll have to keep an eye on these three and how they can hold up. I'm not sure if they pitted or not. I'll have to check on that. With that first caution, they might have pitted, but needless to say, they're staying out. Well, our producer's telling us that they're staying out. So 35 lap tires versus fresh tires. We'll see how they hold up, Will.
Yeah, I have to think the only strategy that would be in play there, Brady, would be an undercut for stage number 2, because stage number 2 would be lap 75. So right now, trying to push this to lap 75 would be around 36 laps from now. So you're asking a lot out of those Goodyear Eagles. So the only strategy I could think of would be that undercut. But right now, it's Adam Newton and Blake Lothian taking us at the drop of the green flag. Stage 2 officially underway here as we head down to corner number 1.
Yeah, a little bit of a checkup on the restart, but nonetheless, we're off and running, and you got Adam Newton, Blake Lothian's part-time drivers. We see Dana Shepard, playoff driver, falling back a little bit on those older tires. And wow, we see Jose Luis Rivera, he wants that spot back off of Keith Bradley. They're side by side going into 1 right here.
Big pile up there on the front stretch. 2 trucks right now, 3 right now. Watch out, everybody. That's Robbie Richards there, piled up on the front stretch. Oh my goodness, the mighty have fallen. Robbie Richards was gaining a lot of positions in this racetrack. Gonna look to be tangled up here in our second caution of the night.
Yeah, that's going to be very unfortunate for him.
check it out here in just a second on the NASCAR 360 Racing Network. Get that replay revved up for you. And boy, Brady, that was almost a deja vu Denzel Washington movie there. Flashback, what we saw there in stage number 1. Once the drivers got warm, everything just started to unravel here. We're going to watch it live here as Stephen Thomas going to head right into this mix. Looks like everybody was starting to already check up into the corner. Like the event had already happened. Raul Meza there in the 37 is going to be involved as well. Doesn't look to be a lot of heavy damage trucks there, Brady. Just maybe some aggravation out of some guys.
Yeah, and it looked like they were 2 and 3 wide. Dana Shepard, and those older tires kind of stacked up the field back there. And once he got spun, Robbie got into him. It looks like Raul Meza comes around there, turns Robbie Richards, and yeah, it's just these restarts, man. We've seen it on the first stage, and now we have the same thing on the second stage. Like I said, everybody's fighting for track position, and it's just wild. Here we go on board with Robbie Richards.
You're going to ride on board. Richards there's going to make contact there with the 45. I believe that's Blake Lothian there in the 45 machine. Going to make contact with him there on the front stretch, but I'm not sure what got the 48. You see contact there between the 99 and Devin Painter. Blake Lothian right there. Blake was starting to lose that equipment. Man, I don't know, Brady. That might be a little bit of that mysterious netcode ghost there at Richmond.
Yeah, that's actually Dana Shepard right there in the 45.
Dana Shepard in the 45. That part of that group there with Blake Lothian, those drivers that didn't pit there last time by. But you're going to watch right here. If you're watching along with us here on the NASCAR 360 Racing Network, you're going to see that the 99 going to make contact there with Dana Shepard in the 45. And the 45 is essentially going to hit a speed bump on the racetrack, Brady.
Yeah, I mean, there's contact there, and yeah, that's just unfortunate. I'm sure Dana was just wanting to ride right there and kind of see where he shaped out on those older tires, but it's just some misfortune for Robbie Richards getting hit in the back right there. It looks like he was going to make it through there, and then Raul kind of came in there, but oh man, it's very interesting this first race of this first round for these playoff drivers. We've seen a lot of them get involved in accidents tonight.
With 2 races go here in this round, you got to think for some of these drivers, they were probably excited about Richmond, Brady. It's not the easiest or hardest short track out there. It's a track that as long as you can keep it low, you can maintain position, you can keep it clean. You just have to avoid what we've seen here tonight, those crazy pileups. But some of these drivers here, they're going to leave Richmond probably with a little bit of a disappointment heading into the next week for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Richmond always, it seems to make its way into the playoffs in most NASCAR leagues, and this is why. It's exciting. It's a wild card factor. You never know where you're going to stack up at. I've been here. I don't personally never really care for Richmond. I'll leave here with a top 5 and say, how did I even do that? And then I'll think that I'm going to win the race, and next thing you know, I'm finishing 32nd. So it's just a bunch of unknowns with this track.
Yeah, and right now, we talked about that last restart, whether these 2 drivers could maintain on those Goodyear Eagles. They've done just that so far. Again, that's the 43 of Blake Lothian up there with Adam Newton up there. Of course, we saw Dana Shepard there in the 45 lose that draft, so to say, Brady, that put him in a dangerous spot back there. The 45 truck now with a lot of heavy damage, going to be spending a lot of time down pit road here. But as we come to this restart here under caution, we'll have to see, Brady, if those 2 drivers can maintain this restart. And here we go. Green flag is in the air. Barney is ready. So are those 2 at the top of the grid right now as Adam Newton is going to take us down to corner number 1.
Yeah, Adam Newton got a great restart. Blake's going to settle in. Well, at least try to settle in on second. It looks like Jose's going to get around him on the outside. And that's great for Jose. He wants that, to put those trucks with older tires on in between him and Keith Bradley, because he knows Keith is going to be coming to win that second stage also.
And you see Taylor Peacock right there in the 81 machine trying to find a friend there on the top side lane right now, as the 82 of Adam Newton's now trying to hold off Jose Luis Rivera in the 20. Jose got a huge run off the corner there. Great shots here on the NASCAR 360 Racing Network as we're battling here in playoff race number 1. Looks like a few drivers had some troubles there down the backstretch here, Brady, as some drivers are already pulling out of line. But right now, our race leader, Adam Newton's got pressure from him on the inside.
Yeah, we're side by side for the lead right here. Jose should get him going into 3, and it looks like he's going to try to double up 2, put Adam Newton side by side, and Chris Cinnamon's going to stick his nose in there also and try to get that spot.
And Jose Luis Rivera said, "Thank you very much. I was getting bagels in Starbucks. I'll take my penthouse position back at the top of the grid." As now the 20 machine is leading the way down the backstretch. Keith Bradley's right there in the second position. Huge run down into 3 and 4. The 29's now got that nose right on the back bumper.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see if they're going to get single file out, spread out the field a little bit here, will kind of calm everything down like we saw on the first stage.
Yeah, I'll have to see it right now as we're single file here down the backstretch, Brady. And that's a great point there, is right now we only see a battle for position there. That's Blake Lothian there in the 43 truck, now all the way down to 12th. That's our first battle on the racetrack. Now that's going to go to single file. You see Justin Lumpkin there in the 18 truck just above them. But, Keith Bradley wants to probably pass Jose for the lead right now, but I would have to imagine he's going to ride right behind him. There is now Adam Newbert there. Gosh, that's a tongue twister there, Brady. It's Adam Newton and Adam Newbert on the racetrack.
Yeah, and they're actually teammates too, so their team owner probably gets that all messed up too.
As right now, Adam Newbert is under fire. He's got Taylor Peacock in his rear view. He's got Joey Doucette in his rear view as well. They're battling for a position. It's going to put some pressure on the 4. Now, what that does there, Brady, Adam Newbert now is behind Chris Cinnamon for 3rd. Almost about a 1.5 second gap that's now forming. As Taylor Peacock to the inside of the 4 machine. Taylor Peacock's trying to get some momentum going here. He says, "I can take on the money, man. Let me get a bag once in a while." As the 81 goes around the 4 right now on the exit of 4. The 81 machine of Taylor Peacock up 8 spots from the drop of the green flag up to 4.
Yeah, we thought we'd see Joey he looked like he stuck his nose in there a little bit, but he thought better of it. So he's going to settle back in 6th position, it looks like. He's going to challenge Adam, though, for that 5th position now.
Yeah, Joey Doucette's not one to give up here. Had one heck of a regular season, as we touched on earlier. Right now, the battle for the lead still raging on, though, as Jose Luis Rivera, our pole sitter, our leader, has some laps led underneath his belt again. But we are under caution once again here at Richmond. Only our 3rd caution of the night.
Yeah. Be interesting to see exactly what happened right here.
Yeah, we're taking a look here on the NASRA 360 Racing Network. There's Jeff Sickles there in the 22 machine. There's James Morris in the 96. Oh my goodness. We'll have to see what happened there. 96 with a hard impact into the 00 of Huck Whittington.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happened. Ooh. Yeah. We're not sure if Huck got out of the gas or got loose or whatnot and Robbie got into him, or if Robbie had such a big run coming off the corner if he just got into the back of Huck.
We'll take a look here on the NASRA 360 Racing Network. The 48 machine of Robbie Richards coming to the inside of the 00 of Huck Whittington. Ooh, that's tough to say there, Brady.
Yeah, it looked like Robbie apologized to him on the race chat in the session. So I don't know. I don't know if I could put that on Robbie or Huck, but at the same time, you're responsible for your front end. So, Robbie, he was caught up in that accident, so he's trying to make up, some time loss, and might have just got a little too anxious right there and turned Huck.
Yeah, and unfortunately for James Morris there, whose night was going a bit of sideways there in the 96 machine, makes hard impact to the 00 of Huck Whittington, and it's going to retire both of those trucks. And I think for Huck Whittington in the 00, that's going to hurt him a lot more here, Brady. He came in as that 20th driver, locked in that last playoff spot in last week's regular season finale. Now here tonight in the first playoff race is basically going to start exactly where he finished in this race here tonight, in that last playoff spot with a lot of work to do.
Yeah, he's bottom 6 guy, and you're racing. You kind of count, like I got to get to the round of 14, so let me try to count 6 guys that I have to beat, and it's never good whenever you're the last of those people. So he's got a lot more work to do. But hey, he's still on the lead lap. The race isn't over, so plenty of races, plenty of time left in this race. Over 100 laps. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens, Will.
Time indeed, as right now we are still under caution as the field's still going around the racetrack here. We'll have to see if the pace lights stay on of the pace truck here momentarily. As right now we are still going around here under caution. Not a lot of cautions here tonight, Brady. I think the field's done a great job of keeping it clean, respecting each other's lines on the racetrack, and it's opened the door to a lot of great racing so far.
Absolutely. We saw, this was our third caution of the night, but for the most part, we saw some great racing. Jose, Keith, Chris, those three guys were able to get around those guys on older tires. And, we'll have to keep an eye on Adam Newton and Blake Wilkie to see where they stack up after stage two. And, if it was worth it to give up, that track position and how that's going to work out. We see Adam Newton still running in the top 10, but I really don't even see where Blake's at the moment. He must have pitted maybe, but so far it's working out for Adam Newton that is, but Dana Shepard and Blake not so much.
Yeah, not so much indeed, as right now Blake Lothian will be registered in the 24th position right now on the racetrack. That puts him just 2 spots above the last lead lap car on the racetrack, and right now that's currently Robbie Richards in that 48. In the 26th position is the last truck on the lead lap. But here we go, folks, as right now the pace truck will take us into 3 and 4. The lights are off. Barney now has the green flag in his hand. Jose Luis Rivera is excited to take it. Keith Bradley, the animal, I'm sure he's hungry there on the outside, as now they're going to battle side by side to the start finish line. They'll take the green flag down into corner number 1. Jose Luis Rivera, Keith Bradley side by side into corner number 1.
Yeah, and looked like Keith was going to try to get that run coming off of 2, but it looked like it stalled out. He's going to challenge Jose here with just a handful of laps left in the state.
Man, big move out of the 20 right there to throw that tail in front of the 29 machine. As right now, Jose Luis Rivera still leading the way. Chris Cinnamon is in 3rd. And look at that. Taylor Peacock and the 81 machine up to 4th. Brady making one heck of a run here tonight, up 8 spots from the drop of the green flag. But he has a money man right on his tail. We know what Adam Newbert can do in these races, Brady. He's a late race driver. This is when the volume starts to turn up inside that Ford machine.
Absolutely. And then, Chris Cinnamon, can't count him out. Taylor Peacock, Joey Doucette, Painter, they all started up front, and they've maintained, we're looking at, the guys that started 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. They're still all up there. So like I said earlier, that track position is key here.
Family Handyman 420. Jose Luis Rivera still leading the way. See Joey Doucette right there in the 16. Taylor Peacock in the 81 machine, as we just have about 9 laps to go here in stage number 2. And Keith Bradley says, I don't care how many laps are left here in this stage, as the 29 machine's right on the back bumper of Jose Luis Rivera. There he goes to the inside as we cross the start finish line, make it lap 68. The 29 machine's just going to keep doing what he does right there. He's going to lock those tires on the yellow line as we're side by side down the backstretch into 3rd. A battle for the lead, Brady.
Yeah, and it looks like Jose's gonna probably he's gonna challenge him on the outside to get that run, but I think Keith's got it right here. He's gonna pass him coming out of 2 right here. He'll probably clear him in the middle of 1 and 2 and get it. Yep, he'll get the position coming off of 2.
And if
so
you look at that, yeah, I was going to say, Brady, if you look at that ticker above your screen here as you were breaking down that battle for the lead, you look at Chris Cinnamon and Taylor Peacock actually running faster lap times than those leaders.
Absolutely. As we see Jose getting a wall right there, hopefully that doesn't, put too much damage on his truck. But yeah, Chris is going to be another one that's going to challenge Keith. He's just going to have to get around Jose, but I think he's going to run out of time before this stage ends right here.
Yeah, just about 6 laps, make it 5 laps to go here in stage number 2. Keith Bradley's trying to sweep the stages here, just like I hope the Florida Panthers sweep the Toronto Maple Leafs, but that's another day, another dollar right here at Richmond. Keith Bradley is just about 6 laps away from getting the job done here, as now we see the rest of the field sort of bunched up here down to 3 and 4. Brady, I think these are drivers that are just trying to scrape out a good finish here tonight.
Yeah, Jose got into the wall again on coming off of 2, and that which allowed Chris Cinnamon to pass him up. And as we see Taylor Peacock sticking a nose in there, so
Whoa!
yeah, Jose's going to be overdriving this truck right here. Maybe needs to calm down a little bit.
Yeah, and we just saw Chris Cinnamon with a huge oversteer right there. I think he got a little nervous about that outside wall as well. You saw that 3 machine just grip and rip from the top side of the racetrack into the middle, back to the top side. Huge wheel movement out of the 3 machine, as now he has got that thing on a straight line. Big wheel movement out of the 20 on the exit of 2 right there. Looks like some of these trucks are starting to fail these drivers, Brady.
Absolutely, and then we see Joey Doucette getting around Adam Newbert for that 5th position. So Adam's going to fight him back on the inside. We got a lot of side-by-side battle right here for, looks like 2nd all the way to 6th position.
Yeah, huge side-by-side battles here at the end of stage number 2. Looks like Keith Bradley will get the stage victory here. He's going to make it 1 lap to go here as the caution flag flies before the end of the stage flies there, Brady. Yellow flag is out. That's Jacob Klinkart there in the 5. Will bring out the caution flag, which will also end stage number 2. Stage victory will go to Keith Bradley there in the 29 machine. You see the 5 of Jacob Klinkart right there. Stephen Thomas behind him. Ooh, we'll have to check a different camera angle there. See what happened to the 5 on the exit of corner number 2. That Jacob Klinkart there in the 5 machine. I'm not sure if there was contact made. We'll see right here, wonderful shot there. We'll see the 23 of Stephen Thomas right on the back bumper of the 5 as we check it out here, see if there's any contact made here on the exit of the corner. There is. Oh my goodness, just a square shot right into the back of that Chevy logo, Brady.
Yeah, it looks like just a bunch up effect. You know, it looked like the 5 got into the 18 a little bit and had to check up right there to stay off of him, and Stephen Thomas just got into him to turn him around. So, you know, that's kind of what you see at short tracks. You know, you when you're coming out the corner, you don't expect, you know, the guys to kind of check up like that, and it's just accordion effect. And it looked like Jacob got the bad end of the deal on that one.
Indeed, and as we mentioned, Keith Bradley will sweep the stages here tonight. He'll get that stage victory. Oh my goodness, and you see it once again here. A little bit of contact there made on the back of the 18 of Justin Lumpkin there. Enough that's going to affect his finish, I don't think. Right now for Jacob Klinkart, though, in the 5, that's going to be a heavy impact there to the inside wall there down the backstretch. 5 machine's not going to love that. That's going to be very hard there on the 5 machine. But there we go, folks. That's going to be the end of stage number 2 here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. This is the Family Handyman 420. We're going to step aside for just a short break. We'll be right back for the end of the Family Handyman 420 here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. Welcome back, race fans, to Nazareth 360 Racing Network here. We just saw the conclusion of stage number 2, won by the man now joining us here in the broadcast booth, Keith Bradley. We'll get you in here for just a second. You sweep both the stages. How are you getting the job done here tonight?
Just letting Jose burn his stuff off and be an idiot, and then just catch him at the end when his tires really fall off. Like, I've been putting a ton of pressure on him, I think, so I can't give out all my secrets, though.
There we go, the 29 machine, the animal here joining us here in the broadcast booth for just a short minute before we go back. Green Flag Racing, and Keith Bradley is Green Flag Racing here. We got that quick sound bite out of him there, Brady, as we're back. Green Flag Racing here to the inside of Blake Lothian already here into corners 1 and 2. 29 machines now side by side for the race lead down into corner number 3. We're not even one lap under green yet here on lap 80. 29 machine wants that lead here once again. Is going to try to hope for a push from the 3 of Chris Cinnamon as we're side by side across the start finish line, one lap under green.
Yep, and we saw Blake Lothian do the same strategy he did in stage 1 to stage 2 to this final run, staying out. It looks like he's got about 13 laps older tires than Keith, so Keith should be able to power by him pretty quickly, but we'll have to keep an eye on where Blake ends up. Oh, as we see Chris Cinnamon get loose coming off the 4.
Yeah, some of these trucks are getting loose already for these drivers here on this restart. Taylor Peacock to the inside of the 3 right now. This is a battle for a podium position. Battle for 3rd right now down the backstretch. The 81's going to take that spot from the 3 machine of Chris Cinnamon. The 3 machine of Chris Cinnamon. Oh! Huge wreck off of 2. A lot of tail end trucks are going to be involved in this. There's Dan Hagan right there in the 39. There's Cody Knott in the 26 machine. James Morris in the 96 as well. With a blacked out Johnny Cash machine on the racetrack right there. Can't tell who that is, but here we go, Brady. We have another caution on the racetrack.
Absolutely, and we're gonna have to see. We see, oh man, we see trucks blinking out and everything right here.
Yeah, it looks like that's CJ Fonda there in the 53 machine. We'll have to see what happens to him. He looks to just maybe get loose there off the corner, and that's just going to cause a huge pileup.
Yeah, that's just wow. I'm not sure what to even say. That's we see that at like Talladega, Daytona.
Yeah, and if we could rewind it just a little bit there in the truck, we'll see the 53 essentially get loose just by himself there. I don't think there was any contact made from the 53. Of course, he was racing very strong. They're going to watch from the 9 machine of Chris Blanchard here as he's going to avoid all of that disaster in front of him. There, see Brandon Bullock there in the 17. We're going to ride by him. Just a moment there, but I really didn't see any contact there that would send the 53 loose, or we're going to ride on board with the 53 now of CJ Fonda, racing out of Nashville, Tennessee there. And you'll see him coming down to the corner here. Great shot here in the Nazareth 360 Racing Network, and he's already loose before the exit of corner, Brady.
Yeah, it looks like he just overdrives it a little bit, and then it just looks like nobody else had anywhere to go. You got trucks just piling in right there.
Watch more live shots here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. Another huge pileup here, Brady, and I think that's been a trend here tonight. When the caution flag does fly, it's a multi-truck incident right now. But here we're just about 85 laps into this race. Keith Bradley, I'd say, has been the best driver all night long, Brady, and I say that with a sense of he's been in the top 3 all night long. He's won both the stages here in this race, and with 100 laps to go here, just under 100 laps, this is really, we're going to see that 29 machine really hold on, get that green flag pit stop out of the way. And he just doesn't have it in the bag just yet, Brady. I think there's a lot more drivers that could put some heat on him before this race is over.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think he's going to take the outside here. He's got Chris Cinnamon, a teammate, in 4th to maybe kind of help him out, carry his momentum in. We've seen Chris lose that spot to Taylor Peacock. Taylor Peacock is the guy that I have my eyes on. Like I said, he started, fairly midfield. He's worked his way up to 3rd right here. He should on this restart get around Blake that's on older tires than him, and I'd like to see that to see what he actually has for Keith. He depends on how this is going to shape out in the next 20 or 30 laps. But I'd like to see some green flag racing to see if Taylor can get up there and challenge Keith for that lead.
Definitely, and that's a driver that I had my eyes on as well, Terry Peacock, not just in this race, but all the races leading up to this week. I think he's maybe found something in those practice sessions, hitting those laps in the 81 machine, something that he has found that's got that 81 moving in the right direction. I am just excited to see where it can land, and it might land him in victory lane here tonight. Going to restart fourth.
Yeah, and as we get back to go green right here, Will, whoever wins tonight, you move on to the next round. You're locked into the round of 14. So it's very, very important race right here.
Is right. Now is the 29 machine, and Keith Bradley takes the green flag down to corner number 1. Right now, Chris Sidman's under fire from Blake Lothian, the 43 truck. He's to the inside of the 3 here, down the backstretch. No, they'll go back to single file. Single file racing down to 3 and 4. Now heading towards the front stretch.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, Keith taking that outside, it was a huge advantage for Chris Cinnamon, and it looked like Taylor
truck sideways on the front stretch there, Brady. Truck sideways.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to get it going. I couldn't make out who it was. Oh, that's Ed Osborne in the 42 for Mission 2 Esports.
Yeah, the 42 truck of Ed Osborne's gonna, I would say, respectfully avoid the rest of the field there and get that thing moving once again back up to the top of the grid right now as Taylor Peacock's going to try to advance another position up to third. Gonna snatch it away from Blake Lothian there in the 43 truck. Blake Lothian's been trying to do everything he can to just hold on to position in this race. Brady looks like it's getting to unravel for that 43 truck as now he'll be under fire from Joey Doucette in the 16 and Adam Newber in the 4.
Yeah, we've seen this 16 truck and this 4 truck glued together all night long. So hopefully Joey can pass up the 43 right here and put some separation on him, because that is a battle brewing for sure. It's only a matter of time before they get together with.
Almost happened right there. Of course, the 43 truck's not going to have the same speed as the 16 or the 4 on that old equipment, so watch out for that. Right now is the 16 truck of Joey Doucette's to the inside here on the corner. He's now door-to-door with the 43. He's going to try to hope from a push from the 4. The 4 said, I ain't helping you. He's going to try to help the 43 truck, but no, Joey Doucette's going to inch that nose just ahead of the 43 as now we're at a 4. Joey Doucette will advance position.
Yeah, we'll have to keep on the lap times right here with Chris Cinnamon, how he's shaping up to Keith, and we'll have to see if Taylor Peacock can get back up there and pass up Chris.
Taking a look at that leader of Keith Bradley right now, we're running a 22.51 last time by. Second place, Chris Cinnamon ran a 22.59. We look down the grid just a little bit. Taylor Peacock ran a 22.74. Joey Doucette 22.56. And our top 5 would be Adam Newbert, ran a 22.74 as well. So pretty close lap times there for our top 5.
Yeah, they're all within hundreds to a tenth of each other. And Devin Painter's working on Blake Lothian for that 5th position.
As right now, Devin Painter's trying to hold. Oh my goodness, as there was almost contact made there, Brady. But here on lap 95, we want to invite everybody watching at home here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network to turn up those volumes, crank it up here, as we're going to give you the sights and sounds of Richmond. stages in this race here, Brady, and as we creep up towards those green flag pit stops, he's starting to separate, and that bodes well for those pit stops.
Absolutely, and as we see that strategy for Blake Lothian, he continues to drop back. A good plan, especially when you're a part-time driver. You're just here to race for money. No points on the line or anything like that. So it was a good strategy, but it looks like it's not paying off for him.
No, right now, Brady, you'd have to try to undercut the field, and right now you're looking at around a 14 lap difference between equipment. So even undercutting right now for Blake Lothian's not going to have enough steam or enough momentum to carry through to the end. As right now, Christensen's currently in second, and let's run through the field for the folks at home to see where all your favorite drivers are at on the racetrack. Right now, our race leader, of course, is the animal himself, Keith Bradley, in the 29 machine. Currently in the second position is the 3 machine of Chris Cinnamon. Then we look at Taylor Peacock in the 81 machine, one of our biggest movers of the race so far, up 9 spots from the drop to the green flag, currently in third. Then we look at Joey Doucette, tied for that regular season championship, right now in fourth. Adam Newbert, the money man himself, the 4 machine, coming off a series championship in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series, currently in fifth. Devin Painter in that 99 machine is in the 6th position, rocking pretty good here in the top 10. We look at the 7th position is Stephen Thomas in the 23 machine. We look at Jose Luis Rivera slipping just a little bit in that 20. Still has a top 10 run going on right now in the 8th position. Look at Adam Newton in that 82 machine, up 11 spots from the drop of the green flag, right now in 9th. And currently our biggest mover of the race, Brady, is Justin Lumpkin in the 18 machine, up 17 spots from the drop of the green flag.
Yeah, it looks like Justin was kind of just minding his own business back of the pack. He looked like he started 27th and just kind of riding it out, waiting to get through all the cautions and keep a clean truck, and now he's making a run towards the front.
And look past right there, the 10th position. We look at some of the other guys. I want to crack inside that top 10. Look at the likes of Justin Lumpkins right there in that battle. We look at Blake Lothian right there, still trying to hang on to that top 10. But Jonathan Pugh there in the 19 truck hasn't gained any positions in this race, hasn't lost any either. Awesome paint scheme for that 19 truck here tonight. Currently, Jonathan Pugh is in the 13th position. Dana Shepard in the 45 truck. We saw the early incident that 45 truck was involved with. Great job of staying in the fight, though. Currently in the top 15 in the 14th position. Right now, Brandon Bullock in the 17 truck is in contention for the biggest mover of the race. Probably wishes he was up a little higher on that grid. Currently is in 15th. Kyle Hess in the 86 machine is in the 16th position. Right behind him, we have Christopher Blanchard in the 9 and 17. Right now, Eric Zimmerman in the 18th position. Robbie Richards, a promising race to start here tonight. Right now, currently inside the top 20. Clinging on, though, in the 19th position. Right now, Jeff Sickles holds that top 20 position in the 22 machine. And our last truck on the lead lap is Cody Knott in that 26 machine, currently in the 24th spot.
Yeah, and I know Robbie's going to be disappointed with his finish tonight, the way he's ran. We saw him earlier cracking, as we see Derek Kilgore right there sliding. I don't know if he's going down pit road. Yes, he's going down pit road. But yeah, Robbie's going to be disappointed with his run tonight, as he was cracking the top 5 here earlier before those misfortunes happened to him.
As we look right now, 111 laps into this race here tonight. This is the family handyman 420, Keith Bradley, the 29 machines, trying to just wrap it up there. Brady, you mentioned it early on in this broadcast. You win, you advance into the next round no matter what. And in a field of top 20 drivers that advance into these playoff races, how important do you think it is for that win in advance situation?
Oh, well, it's, you go into the next 2 races in this round and you really don't have anything to worry about. You're locked in. You can kind of just run. You can change your strategy. You can do different things. As I'm looking at Richmond Homestead Auto Club, not too technical of a first round, but, you win tonight and you don't have to worry about Homestead or Auto Club if you get caught up in a wreck.
That's exactly true right now. 114 laps into this race. Adam Newbert, now we're starting to get through this lap traffic right now. A few factors having to count into this race, but Brady, when do you start to see those green flag pit stops come into play?
Well, they should be good enough on fuel, so you might see some guys take tires just to see if they can kind of leapfrog some people. They'll be 2 laps down, but you shouldn't have to worry about fuel. Fuel shouldn't be a factor.
As right now we're looking at the end of this race. Keith Bradley still our race leader. We look at some more of the battles percolating up in the field. But one thing that worries me for the rest of the field here, Brady, is we're starting to see a lot more separation on the field, a lot more single file racing here. And although that might be good on a big super speedway racetrack, what that bodes is that Keith Bradley in the 29 can just keep racing his race with no pressure at all.
Absolutely. If he continues to just maintain this gap right here, he should be just smooth sailing the rest of the race.
Going to ride on board with the 29 right now of Keith Bradley as we're into 1 and 2. Nobody around him right now on the racetrack. Brady, we look at that scoring sheet. We look at a gap now of about 3 seconds on that second place truck on the racetrack. Chris Cinnamon. We look at Taylor Peacock right there in the 3rd spot. We're riding on board with Adam Newton here in that 82 machine. Right now, Adam Newton is one of our biggest movers of the race up to 7th.
Yeah, Adam Newton, it looked like he did this strategy with Blake, but then he thought better of it, and he was able to pit with the rest of the guys for that final run. Adam Newton's new to this series. He just came on board last week, and he run a little bit on Mondays. We'll see him full-time on Mondays with the Sick With It Motorsports group, and we'll look to see what he can bring to Nazareth in these truck series.
Yes, right now we're still riding on board with that 82 machine. And you just spoke about it there, Brady. We just wrapped up the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. We're going to ride on board with the champion of that series, the money man himself, Adam Newbert, there in the Ford. Brady, I think Adam cashed in for over $400 in that championship prize pool, if I'm not mistaken. What's it looking like here for this Friday night series?
They're very similar. It will be a little bit more on Friday nights. The title sponsor gives a little bit more sponsorship money, just because this series has been around. We're in our 6th season. We're going to our 7th season after this, so a little bit more. You'll probably see anywhere from $450 to $500 for first place, the champion.
Ooh. Very, very nice. I love the sound of that, Brady. And, although I'm new to this series here, is the defending champion from last year involved in these playoff races?
Yeah, Stephen Thomas was our champion last season.
There we go, folks. So keep an eye out on that 23 machine of Stephen Thomas, defending champion from last year here in the Triple M Pulling Truck Series. Still in the hunt here in the first playoff race. And I got to say, probably just one of those maybe dark horse choices there for the championship.
Oh, absolutely. A name, that you would think, but Keith Bradley never won the championship. Chris Cinnamon is a season 4 champion. Stephen Thomas is a champion. So, anybody else, it's fair game. We've never had a repeat champion. Nobody has gone back to back. So we're looking to keep that streak alive.
Yeah, right now, Stephen Thomas, though, said, I don't know, boss, man, I want to get another championship under my belt. As right now, he is rubbing shoulders with some of the top contenders in this league. But right now, the trucks are having a bit of trouble there off of corner number 2. We've seen that all night long there, Brady. Something about the exit of 2 sends those trucks right into the top side wall. But we're going to make it 127 right into corner number 1. And we've seen this battle as well, Brady, all night between the 4 of Adam Newbert and the 16 of Joey Doucette. As now we're down the backstretch. These two, doesn't matter what position they're battling for, have been battling all night.
Absolutely, and like I said earlier in the broadcast, is if you want to find the Ford truck, look for the 16, and if you want to find the 16 truck, look for the Ford truck, because it just seems like they are just tied together this whole entire race.
And right now we're looking at 128 on that scoring pylon, and we're looking at a gap of almost 5 seconds that Keith Bradley now has the 29 machine, the animal, as Mr. Wesley Outland likes to call him here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. He is just eating up this racetrack here tonight, folks. If you've joined our broadcast early on, in the middle, or right now here live, it's not been the same old, same old. The 29 machine has been at the top of the grid. He's felt a little pressure up there. Brady, of course, has had to fight through some of these restarts with the caution flags, but it's been his race all night.
Absolutely, and we saw Jose up there on the pole. Battling Keith just as the tires wore off. It looks like, he lost that track position, fell back, and, you see the top 3, Chris Cinnamon, Taylor Peacock there, pretty much been the class of the field all night.
And you look at lap times, and you look at lines that these drivers are running here, and a little bit of contact there from the 81 of Taylor Peacock into the back of the 00 of Huck Whittington. What do you think could be the reason why we have such a large gap between the 29 of Keith Bradley and the 3 of Chris Cinnamon? The equipment's the same. They last headed down pit road on the same lap, was the lap 75. We look at the lap times right now. We run a 23.8 for Keith Bradley, 23.5 for Chris Cinnamon. But yet the gap's still 5 seconds. Why is that, Brady?
Oh, as you saw right there with Taylor Peacock, lap traffic. These guys have gotten into lap traffic, and it's all about who can get around it, the better and faster than the other person. You saw Taylor Peacock lose significant time to Chris Cinnamon right there. So lap traffic is going to play a factor in this.
Oh, for sure. As right now we're looking at around 19 trucks left on the lead lap. That last lead lap truck is going to be Jeff Sickles in that 22 machine. I know Jeff is probably still celebrating from that team championship, or Adam Newbert taking home the championship for his team there in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. And Jeff's a pretty good driver himself here, Brady, but right now rolling around in the 19th position. He will go a lap down. That puts Chris Blanchard, the last truck on the lead lap.
Yeah, they have a few guys here that's running mid-pack, involved in multiple accidents tonight and just trying to, get it to the finish, call it a night, move on to the next race.
As we're going to ride on board with our race leader right now, the 29 machine of Keith Bradley. He's going to dig to the inside of the 9 of Chris Blanchard. And right now, Brady, with no pressure there on the top side of the grid, it's basically a Keith Bradley. He's racing a whole new race. This is a reset button for him. He's racing guys that he's already lapped. He's already raced during the race. It's a whole different race for him now.
Yeah, and please note that the 16 of Joey Doucette just hit pit road. So that's going to be interesting to see him come out and see what kind of lap times. He should be at least a second and a half faster than everybody, but is this going to pay off for him? We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll have to see if this strategy pays off. This is what we would like to say an undercut. Joey Doucette's trying to undercut the rest of the field. Keith Bradley, we assume, has to head down pit road eventually before the end of this race. We're going to start to see some of these dominoes fall here as we creep towards that 140, 142 range. I'd have to assume here Brady, as now we already have our first domino to fall. That was Joey just set there in the 16 machine. And folks, just to remind you, if you're watching along with us here on the NASCAR 360 Racing Network, if one of these drivers wins here and you're a playoff driver, you lock yourself into the next round no matter what you do here the next 2 weeks. And boy, what a Willy Wonka golden ticket that would be, Brady, to take that stress off your shoulders.
Yeah, if I'm running, I want to say Joey was running top 6 right there, top 7. I'm not sure if that's the strategy I would have played. You kind of feel like you're locked into a good position. Now if I'm maybe 11th to 15th, maybe it's a good strategy. But like I said, we'll just have to wait to see how this all plays out. We're coming up on 36 laps to go in this race, but 36 laps is going to go by pretty fast, Will.
36 laps will go by in a flash here tonight on the NASCAR 360 Racing Network. As Keith Bradley still leading the way here tonight, Brady, and you're the boss man here at NASCAR. You oversee everything that's going on. How excited are you of all the things that are going on right now? We got the Tuesday night series, we got the Wednesday night podcast, and of course this awesome Friday night series that just kicked off these playoff races.
Yeah, I mean it's exciting. We're trying to branch out and get some different series besides the trucks. It just seems like everybody wants to run trucks on the iRacing server. But we're trying to get a Gen 4 Cup Series going on Wednesday nights. Free entry if anybody's watching. If they want to run on Wednesday nights, come check us out, and you could join a Discord and sign up. We're taking sign-ups right now, but the late models on Tuesday have been pretty consistent, and like I said, we're about to do season 2 of the Monday Night Trucks, and should have an exciting season, and then we'll crown a champion on Friday nights and do it again. So a lot of exciting things going on in NASCAR.
There we go. You heard from the boss man himself here, and I'm excited to have you up here in the booth. It's not many times that we get to call a race together, and right now Adam Newbert, though, is to the inside of the 81 of Taylor Peacock. These two are trying to scrape out a top 5 finish right now. This is a battle inside the top 5. This is actually a battle for third. Oh no! Contact, big contact between the 81 of Taylor Peacock. Adam Newbert in the 4. Huge contact on the entry of 3 and 4. Both trucks, heavy damage. Oh my goodness, Brady. They were racing for podium finishes. Now they might be racing just to save those trucks.
Yeah, I'm actually shocked. I'm speechless right now, Will. I think that's why it's taking me so long to talk. Fighting for third right there. We'll have to wait and see exactly what happened. I know they were side by side, but wow, that changes everything. And the one that's going to get snake bit on this is Joey Doucette, because I think he was still 2 laps down.
We're going to watch right here as they exit 2. The 81, you're starting to see a little bit of a slide out of the 81 on the exit of 2. Just a little bit. He's going to try to save it. I don't think he ever saves it there, Brady, as we're going to watch it there. A little bit of a fast forward speed there. But I don't think the 81 ever saves it. He's loose before he even exits corner number 2. And I think he spends the whole backstretch trying to save it, and then unfortunately just makes contact with the 4.
Yeah, and it looks like right here he catches like a meatball effect right there at the end where his truck just goes up in the air.
Because if
Wow.
we could go back just a little bit there in the truck, you'll see the 81 on the exit of 2. He's already fighting that truck. You'll see him on the exit, already with a little slide, and right there you see the 81. He's bouncing right there, Brady. He's got his hands on the wheel. He's trying to save that truck from getting loose, and unfortunately, on one of those bounces, he's just going to clip that right rear fender of that 4. That's just going to spell calamity for both trucks.
Yeah, and whenever they made contact, you could see Taylor got out of the gas and lifted. I think maybe if he would have lifted a little bit earlier, he probably could have saved it a little bit, instead of getting into Adam right there. It just settled in the 4th. But, it's 30 laps to go. I know Taylor's going to be kicking himself for that, because I believe is done. I think we've seen some smoke right there, but oh man, that's unfortunate for both drivers.
And I think the only way to explain that for the folks at home that hasn't been behind the wheel of these trucks or been behind the wheel of any race car is, let's say, Brady, you're out driving in the rain and you hit the brakes and you start to feel your car or whatever you like to drive at home start to slide underneath you and you start to hydroplane, if you will. That's sort of the same feeling that the 81 machine of Taylor Peacock felt there on the exit of the corner. That truck was starting to get loose from him. He was starting to lose the truck. So that's when you start to see that truck bounce left to right, left to right. And Brady, that's never good when you see a driver there trying to fight that truck, get it straight, get it straight. And eventually, we saw it right there, makes that brief contact. And, most of the time you'll just see a driver get loose, spin out by themselves in those situations. But a side-by-side racing here at Richmond, that's just unfortunate for those two.
Yeah, the rear tires are spitting faster than the front tires, and the truck's trying to keep up, and you're trying to gather it up with the steering wheel, and you're turning left, you're turning right, and you know you you know you don't see that too often out of Taylor Peacock. I'll say that. So that's why I'm kind of bummed to see that happen to him, especially with a great run that he had going tonight. But that's the things that can happen. We talk about the pressure of the playoffs. This is the pressure that's put on these drivers to perform, and you don't want to give up the spot. You want to fight that guy, but at the same time, sometimes it's better to just surrender the spot and just move on to the next race. But we'll see Taylor retire. It sounds like over the radio. So he'll have some work to do these next two races. But he still has a chance. He's great at Homestead. He's great at Auto Club. So Adam too, caught up in there. But the difference between Adam and Taylor will is Adam came in here with 24 points, playoff points. So he was, you know, first seed coming in here tonight. So he could manage, to have a bad night if he had to.
And for Adam Newbert, they're in the four, just outside of the top 10, so has plenty of time to scrape out a good finish here tonight. But here we go. Great flag is in the air once again as Keith Bradley's going to take us down to corner number one. Chris Simon right there. Stephen Thomas right there in the 23. We also have the 82 of Adam Newton right there, up 15 spots. Oh, he gets sideways. He gets sideways off of two. The 82 is now at a 90-degree angle down the backstretch. Oh, my goodness. Was that not a commentator's curse, Brady?
Yeah, we tend to do that a lot, don't we, Will?
Woo, that was right on time there, and now having one heck of a race. We see the 82 there to the inside of Stephen Thomas in the 23, and again, he's just going to get loose by himself. We just saw this happen just a little while ago. A driver's just going to barely hit that apron, and that truck's just going to get right at a 90-degree angle.
Yeah, and that's the rule here, Will, is if you spin out on your own like Adam did, you get an EOL. So he's going to the back anyways, but he'll stay on the lead lap, get some fresh tires, and he'll be able to make a run up here. I'm kind of interested to see if anybody's going to pit.
Yeah, me too. That'd be very interesting to see if anybody does decide to head down pit road. Of course, we just saw the majority of the field to head down not too long ago. We'll have to see what happens here as we're under yellow once again. We're going to be about 20 laps to go when we get everything settled here, Brady.
Yeah, some interesting calls to see because we're going to see, Joey Doucette's back on
So we're back here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. There had a bit of a technical issue there come up, which sent us to break. But we're back here with live action at Richmond. Here we got less than 17 laps to go. Here is right now our race leader on the track is Keith Bradley there in the 29. No surprise there, Christian right behind him. But the battles are raging on for a third place finisher. We're under caution once again. Check out what brought out this caution here in this late stages of this race. We see a three-wide battle right there. That's Blake Lothian, the 43. Adam Newbert in the 4. Hard impact there to the nose of the 4 of Adam Newbert. And boy, his night has just gone south there. You see a three-wide battle. That's Huck Whittington on the inside. Blake Lothian there in the middle. And you also see Derek Kilgore there in the 11's going to come. Oh, man, that's hard impact there for the 4. You see right there, that's the 94. That's going to make contact with the 4 machine. That's Eric Zimmerman there in that 4. Or 94, excuse me. The 4 is going to have that hard hit there. Oh, my goodness, hard impact.
Yeah, and then 11th, you see him. Derek Kilgore's had a bad night tonight. But yeah, Eric Zimmerman had nowhere to go, and just Adam Newbert sideways right there. So. You're going to see more of that. It's time to go. We're inside 20 laps, and people are, making decisions on trying to, better their position, and just hard racing right there.
Yeah, and right now for the 29 machine, Keith Bradley, you got to think that the drivers behind him are going to try to do anything here on this restart to keep him in check. And what I mean by that, Brady, is you can't allow the 29 to get a big jump here. You can't allow the 29 to separate from you. And I think if that happens, the 29 machine can go ahead and start to make those victory dinner reservations.
Yeah, and we're seeing a different top 10 than we've seen all night long. Will we've seen Heath up here, Chris up here. Stephen Thomas has been running top 6, top 5. Now he's in 3rd. Devin Painter's been up there. Kyle Hess is in top 5. Jacob Klinghart's come up there. Derek, Jonathan Pugh, Dana Shepard, Jose, our pole sitters in 9th, and Joey Doucette's in 10th, battling back from going 2 laps down for that green flag pit stop. So different top 10 than we're accustomed to seeing.
Yeah, definitely, indeed, right there. And I think looking at those names, I think Stephen Thomas, we spoke about him here tonight, one of those dark horses for the championship, defending champion here in the Triple M Pulling Truck Series. We also look at the likes of Jacob Klinkart, who also just had heavy damage to the nose. I wouldn't say it was heavy damage, or else he wouldn't be inside the top 10 right now, but we saw him involved in an incident not too long ago. Jonathan Pugh's up there in the 19. Dana Shepard, the 45, had an early incident not too long ago as well, currently inside the top 10. So a lot of these drivers, you have a mix there. Brady, you have drivers that the nights have gone south, sort of say, and you've had drivers whose nights have gone north, sort of say. So a good mix inside that top 10.
Absolutely. We've got a lot of, adversity overcome from some of guys, and we got some guys that have been consistently up there. So it's good to see, that, you keep sticking with it, keep pounding, laps down, and then eventually, it pays off for you.
Indeed, and I believe this might, foregoing another caution flag, this is going to be the conclusion of this race here tonight. Brady, we're going to creep up to the start with about 11 to 10 laps to go here in this race. I'm curious to see here on this restart if Chris Cinnamon in that 3 can maybe keep that 29 in check. Maybe rub him just a little bit there before the entry of the corner. Whatever he has to do to keep him in check, or else we'll see that 29 in victory lane. But the pace lights are off of the pace truck. He pulls off down pit road. There's Barney here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. He's got that green flag ready. They're on the gas pedal down in the corner number 1. Keith Bradley with a huge restart once again leads us out of the corner.
Devin Painter right there is going to take the 3rd spot.
Caution's out. Caution's out. Caution flag is out once again as we have a huge pile up on the entry of corner number 1. we look at the likes of Jeff Sickles there in the 22, Huck Whittington in the 00. He looks to be the culprit there on the top side of the racetrack. We look at Robbie Richards there in the 48 machine as well. Boy, Brady, his night has just gone completely sideways there in the 48. We'll see what happens here. There's contact between the 82 and the 00 of Huck Whittington. That's just going to escalate into contact. The 82 is going to get completely sideways there. For the 48, Robbie Richards, he'll get sideways from the contact. They'll send him up the racetrack. Just a huge, oh my goodness, big contact there for the 00. You see Dan Hagan involved as well. Man, Brady, just a lot of nights is going to end here. Right there's James Morris going to be involved as well. Man, oh, there's the 94 as well. Brady, huge demolition derby here on the corner number 1. Huge pile up here, as I believe Brady is probably playing referee and boss man. You gotta think that he is wearing many hats here tonight, as we see the 00 of Huck Whittington here. That's the 82 machine right behind him. The 82 is being driven by, looking at our scoring sheet here, that's Adam Newton there, the 82 machine. Gonna make contact there with the 00 of Huck Whittington. Huck Whittington, as mentioned, was that last playoff driver into these playoff races. Contact right there on the top side of the racetrack. And these drivers, they'll probably keep that truck out there just to complete this race. See Taylor Peacock go by there in the 81 machine. Can't miss him there in that lime green white paint scheme on that truck. But right now, here's we're winding things down here in the Family Handyman 420. Keith Bradley's just trying to hold on here. This is not what he wants to see. He doesn't want to see the caution flag wave. What that does, it just basically stunts any kind of momentum that he can start to build there at the lead. We saw it there with that rocket restart. Once again, he was separating. Caution flag flew, that killed that separation. Let's see how he does here on this restart, Brady.
Yeah, sorry about that, Will. I was kind of diagnosing that caution right there. I was actually trying to figure out what exactly happened, because it seemed like, Huck was going to just let Jeff go in there, but then he kind of turned down into the 82, and then I was trying to figure out, how everything kind of transpired right there. And, hopefully we can get some green flag laps in here for the last 5 laps left,
Yeah, we'll see here as we're assuming the lights will come off of the pace truck here as we cross the start finish line. Those lights will come off. We're looking at a top 5 that consists of the animal himself, Keith Bradley in the 29, Chris Cinnamon in the 3 machines currently in 2nd, Stephen Thomas up 12 spots from the drop of the green flag currently in 3rd, Devin Painter in the 99 currently up to 4th. Jacob Klinkert will round out our top 5 in that 5 machine. We also look at some other names inside the top 10. Kyle Hess in the 86 machines currently in 5th right there with Jacob Klinkart. 7th position here, we'll jump over those 2 drivers. Jonathan Pugh there in the 19. We look at Dana Shepard there in the 45 truck as well. Joey Doucette, Jose Luis Rivera, all inside our top 10.
Yeah, we'll see if Chris or Stephen Thomas has anything for Keith. We saw Devin Painter. He restarted behind Keith, and he was able to get, on the outside of Chris Cinnamon. We'll see if Stephen Thomas is able to do that on this restart.
Well, here we go. This is the final restart of the race. The green flag is in the air. Keith Bradley takes the green flag here in the Family Handyman 420. He takes us down to corner number 1. Chris Cinnamon right there as well. We have a battle for 3rd already raging on into the 1st corner. They're side by side. Now down the backstretch here into corner number 3.
Yeah, Keith's going to be happy with that restart, but Chris is not going to go away. He's going to do everything he can. So he knows how important it is to win this race right here.
4 laps to go here in the Family Handyman 420. Keith Bradley still leading the way. Chris Cinnamon right there in the 3. We have a battle for a 3rd still raging on, though, between Devin Painter and the 99. Stephen Thomas in the 23. He's not to the inside of the 99 on the entry of 3 right now. Keith Bradley will take us around 3 and 4. He'll make it 3 to go. Throw up those 3s. Rest in peace to Dale Earnhardt, because with 3 laps to go, Keith Bradley still leading the way.
Yeah, and we still got a side-by-side battle right here for 3rd. Oh, wow. Yeah, that was close. Devin got out the gas. It was a smart thing to do, but he's not going to be happy because that puts Jacob Klinghardt right there in the battle for fourth.
Yeah, Jacob Klinkart right there to the door of the 99 Devin Painter. We see this battle raging on. Keith Bradley, though, is trying to put another lap car in the mix between him and the rest of the drivers as we're down the backstretch with 2 laps to go. Keith Bradley, though, has got Chris Cinnamon. Chris Cinnamon in the 3, starting to build something there, Brady.
Yeah, we'll see if he can. We'll keep an eye on it. It looks like Keith just got to, have a good 3 and 4, and he should come out with the win right here.
Yeah, down the backstretch, the animal takes us there in the 29 machine into the final set of corners into 3 and 4. Keith Bradley, get out those brooms. He'll sweep the stages. He'll take the checkered flag, and the family handyman 420. The animal eats again, and he'll move on to the next round of the playoffs, securing that next spot in our top 16.
Yeah, just a great race by Keith. A smart race at that. He moves on to the round of 14 automatically, and great race for him, for Chris, for Steven, Jacob, Devin. They just the top 5 did what they needed to do, and Keith Bradley's the guy that comes out on top.
After 175 laps here at Richmond, the fireworks are now going off here at the Speedway. Keith Bradley, the 29 machine, finished in the top 3 last week to round out the regular season. Here when it matters most, the playoffs. We're talking about playoffs. Keith Bradley gets that playoff victory as he's burning out those Goodyear Eagles here on the front stretch. And as he does that, Brady, let's check out our official results here in the Family Handyman 420. Of course, the winner of tonight's race is Keith Bradley there in the 29 machine. Second here tonight, we'll go to Chris Cinnamon in the 3. Third place will be the 23 of Stephen Thomas. Fourth will be Jacob Klinkart in the 5. Fifth position will be the Devin Painter in the 99. Sixth position will be Kyle Hess, the 86. Seventh position will be the 19 of Jonathan Pugh. Eighth position will be Jose Luis Rivera, our pole sitter. Joey Doucette in the 16 will finish 9th, and rounding out our top 10 will be Dana Shepard in the 45.
Yes, Brandon Bullock just finishes outside the top 10. In 11th, Justin Lumpkin comes back from starting 27th to finish 12th. Jeff Sickles, another sick-with-it motorsports driver, will finish 13th. Blake Lothian, 14th. Adam Newton, 15th. All those sick-with-it drivers are right there. Robbie Richards comes home 16th, Pug Wigginton 17th, and Ed Osborne will be 18th.
And we look at some drivers who wish they had better nights here. We look at 19th, Cody Knott in the 26th, 20th, with a 9 of Chris Blanchard, 21st, Taylor Peacock in the 81 machine will finish 9 laps down here tonight. Eric Zimmerman in the 94 finished 22nd. Adam Newbert, I'd have to say this is probably the worst finish I've seen out of the 4, will finish 23rd here tonight, folks. You heard that right, 23rd for Adam Newbert here, 15 laps down. Derek Cligor in the 11 will finish 24th. James Morris in the 96, 25th. Dan Hagan, 26th. CJ Fauna, 27th. And rounding out our field here tonight will be the 93 of Zach Hartwick, and Raul Meza will be our last truck on that that official results there, Brady. But here we go. We're going to take our last break here. We're going to jump to break. We'll be right back with those podium finishers and that post-race recap show here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. Welcome back, race fans, to the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. We just saw the conclusion of the family Handyman 420, in which we saw Keith Bradley do some cleaning here at the racetrack. He swept stages 1 and 2 and wins the race here tonight. What a race it was out of the 29 machine of Keith Bradley. I believe it is time to catch up with our defending series champion, Stephen Thomas, in that 23 machine. And Stephen, I learned that during the broadcast that you were the defending champion here in the Triple M pulling truck series. You're gonna finish third here tonight. But coming into these playoff races, do you feel any extra pressure being that defending champion?
Uh, Complete opposite compared to the past few years, man, because I've been so close to getting it. I feel like the 2 years before that, and then when I finally got it, man, it was just a big relief off my shoulders to get a championship in Nazareth. So like coming into this season and the playoffs, it's honestly the complete opposite than pressure compared to the 3 seasons before.
Well, let's talk about tonight's playoff race. You finished third here tonight in a race that we had caution flags, but they were pileups. We had at least 5 or 6 trucks involved in every caution that we had. Stephen, how are you able to avoid all of that and still scrape out a podium finish?
Well, I avoided a couple. Pretty close ones, but early on in the race, I got caught up when my teammate Adam Newbert got spun. I hit him and got about a minute and 30 worth of damage. So I came in not taking tires in the first stage and just focused on fixing damage. Kept coming in, kept coming in. Finally got it fixed midway through the second. Took tires and got myself back up into a good spot starting the third stage. So yeah, I didn't completely stay out of them. I definitely had a little bit of damage and was able to get it all fixed throughout the second stage and put myself in a decent position starting the third.
Yeah, Steven, I want to ask you here. We look at tonight's race. You finished third. You just talked about through all the obstacles you had to get through this race. We head to Homestead next week. And what's the feeling like here? We take 20 drivers into these playoff races. When do you start to feel that pressure of starting to perform? We go to Homestead, we go to Auto Club, Nashville. Not the most difficult racetracks there down the stretch. They're at those cut lines. But when do you start to really feel like, when does it start to engage that it is playoff racing?
I guess it just depends on how it goes for me. I mean, I'm starting off in third, the playoffs. So obviously the next two races aren't going to, be that much pressure. Just make sure you get to the end and have some good finishes, and you'll make it in the next round pretty easy. And then, like I said, it just kind of depends on how they play out for me. If I have a bad race in the first round, starting the next go, then I might have some pressure to finish really strongly to make it to the top six or whatever it is. So it just kind of how it plays out. Like I said, there's way less pressure on me. I feel like I can just get a top five and race for a win in this whole playoff schedule. Uh, so just making it to the end of the races, man, is my main focus right now. Just to give myself a chance to get a win
And
somewhere
that
in the playoff.
strategy paid off in dividends here tonight, Steven. You just spoke about it there. You had to take that truck down pit road. You were patient with it. You got those repairs done. I think patience was the name of the game here today, and it paid off for you here tonight. As you just said, you'll start off these playoff races in that third position moving forward. But Steven, before we let you go here, I know you got some awesome sponsors on the side of that truck here. Anybody you wanted to shout out
I want to
before we let you
start
go?
by apologizing to my boy Jacob Clinkart. He's a little mad at me. I didn't deserve that at the end of the race, but he's a little mad at me, and I want to apologize to Devin for over driving a little bit and forcing him outside. I think he lost a couple spots because of me. Me and him was racing very clean the last 10 laps, and I kind of messed that up. And then I want to congratulate a few guys. There's 4 guys that got paid. This was the Family Handyman 420. That's my company, and there was a few guys that got paid out for this, and the positions were actually 11th and Brandon Bullock. Um, let's see, 19th was Cody Knott. 23rd was Adam Newbert. And then dead last was Raul Meza. They all get paid 25 apiece for this race. So I want to, thank Family Handyman, and then all my sponsors. My main sponsor, Millie's Restaurant and Catering, DSR Electric, Roof Co, First Pacific Funding, Ladenko, Darren's Nail Gun and Repair, A's Lawn and Landscaping, Millie's Landing, and then all the NASRA sponsors and NASRA 360 Racing Network, you guys in the booth, Triple M Pulling, Pulse Poppers, Hoopy's Garage, Blanchard's Towing, Butt Kicker, Stogies, M1 Race Cars, and Warrior Wraps. And then thank everybody for tuning in and watching. Appreciate it, guys.
Well, Steven, we appreciate it, my man. I'm sure that's going to be a topic for discussion on that Wednesday night podcast. The Money Man somehow gets paid again
I
for
know,
finishing in
right?
the 23rd position.
I'm sure there'll be some guys having something to say about Newbert finishing 23rd, but he's always falling somewhere in the money, isn't he?
Well, we appreciate that extra kicking. I'm sure the drivers appreciate it as well, Steven. But with a third place finish here tonight, as we mentioned on the broadcast, could be that dark horse pick for that championship, maybe going back to back here in the Triple M. We
Love to
appreciate
do
my
it.
man. Go celebrate that third place finish, and we'll see you next Friday night.
Thanks, guys.
Yes, sir. That was Stephen Thomas, the driver of the 23 machine, going to finish third here tonight. But Brady, I believe you're catching up with our second place finisher, Chris Cinnamon.
That's correct. Will go from season 5 champion to season 4 champion. A couple of past champions in this channel right now talking. But Chris, congratulations on runner up. I know you're gonna wish you had a little bit more speed tonight to pass up Keith Bradley and get that victory and secure yourself into the round of 14. But you got to be happy with a second place finish coming into the playoffs. You had some playoff points in the bag, so it's going to be a great start for you in this round of 20. So tell us a little bit about the race tonight.
Oh yeah, you got that right, Brady. It would have been nice to take home a victory, but there was no touching Keith. He was on rails tonight. He was flying, and being that he's a teammate there, if I was going to lose to anybody, definitely I'd want it to be him. And it was a great show tonight for the Upfront Motorsports team.
Absolutely. We've seen a lot of you guys. We've seen Chris Blanchard have some misfortune, get caught up in a couple of those accidents early on. Taylor Peacock was running fourth until his little incident with Newbert right there. But yeah, for the most part, we saw you and Keith up there, top three all night long, it seemed like, before pit stops, after pit stops. So, what do you take from this race? I believe Homestead, Miami Speedway is next week. What do you take from tonight going into next week's race to carry yourself through this first round of the playoffs?
It's all about momentum. I think I definitely struggled in the middle section of the schedule here, and just bad luck after bad luck. But I wasn't too worried about it. I showed speed, and it's all about getting the momentum and the things going for you at the right time. And I think Upfront Motorsports, I think we're getting hot right now coming into playoffs, and you want to keep going with that and see if that can take us into hopefully the final six.
Absolutely. I mentioned to Will, Stevens, the past champion. Season before that, you were the champion. Does the pressure kind of get taken off your shoulders knowing that you've been here before? We've seen you in these playoffs, we've seen you make the final fours. Now it's the final six, so there's two extra players in there. Do you still maintain that pressure of being a past champion to perform, or do you feel like your experience kind of takes some of that pressure off?
Yeah, I'd say having some of that experience definitely helps. Kind of the mindset going in. It is about luck too. You need to avoid wrecks early, especially early in the rounds. Keep your truck clean and just build off that. If you're in a wreck 10 laps into one of your first races, you're going to be struggling the entire next couple of races in that round to make it. So, yeah, that's my mindset going in. Stay clean, get a good finish, and try and build off that.
Well, we sure appreciate you coming out tonight, Chris. We want to wish you the best of luck the rest of the way. And before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I asked John at Over the Top Designs to give me a wicked paint scheme here that would turn my luck around, and he sure delivered. That thing looks great out on the track. GT Tacticals as always, Blanchard's Towing, and um, Dan's Top Notch Cooling and Heating. Definitely appreciate those guys out on the truck, and you guys up in the booth, and Brady for you putting this on.
Well, we sure appreciate that, Chris. And best of luck, like we said earlier. And thank you for coming out tonight.
Thank you guys, much appreciated.
And that was Mr. Chris Cinnamon there, your season 4 champion, with his runner-up finish tonight. And I believe you are catching up with the man of the hour, our winner tonight, Mr. Keith Bradley, in that 29 machine.
Yeah, Brady, and down in Victory Lane, celebrating as only an animal should here. Big win from Keith Bradley. He has the brooms out as well as he sweeps the stages and gets the race victory here tonight. Keith, how'd you get the job done here tonight, Richmond?
Um, I just really like Richmond. I like racing here. It's a fun racetrack, and if you get in a good rhythm, you can be just as fast as anybody, really. Just staying in a rhythm, staying in a groove, and just paying attention to people around you. Like there was a couple times where Jose was just driving over his head, and it was like, all right, I'll let him go, and I'll get him back here in just a minute. So it all worked out. We stayed clean. I think I told Wesley I wasn't worried about the speeding on pit road when the playoffs start because that's when crunch time happens, and it paid off.
Yeah, the rhythm there, Keith. You know, he had a lot of cautions there down the stretch. A couple of them, those restarts there. I kind of was getting nervous for you there just a little bit if anything was to happen on the restarts, but seemed as though those restarts you just had those timed just masterfully. By the time you got into corner number one, you already had a huge separation from second.
Well, ever since we changed the rule to where we can restart in the restart zone at any point, so I was using it to my advantage and did the same thing when I grew up dirt racing in real life. We would one lap you'd slow the pace down or slow it down a little bit just to catch guys off guard, and it seemed to work tonight to my advantage. And I knew if I could get a good run down into one and put a good gap between me and the rest of the field, it'd be all right.
Yeah, and what basically a wide open season. Of course, we had Joey Doucette at the top of that points table for the longest time. Then, of course, Adam Newbert comes in with those race victories, and Keith, you get the first Willy Wonka golden ticket locked into the next round here. The top 16 or the top 14, excuse me, into the next round. Where do you think you rank in the mix of guys who could possibly win that series championship?
Uh, I'd hate to call my shot. I'll just take it as the cards fall. I like our chances getting to the final, to the championship round. I think we'll be fine. It seems like over the last few seasons, up front in general really flexes our muscles when it comes to playoff racing. It's when we really show up, and I think me and Chris and even Taylor, we showed that hey, the playoffs have started and the cream's going to rise to the top. It just take a little bit of time.
Yeah, we're looking at, Homestead, you can take a breather there. You can take a breather at Auto Club. And the next race you would basically have to win to do the same thing you did here tonight would be Nashville, week 18 there, Keith. So you have a few weeks to basically relax. I'm sure you're not going to be relaxing behind the wheel of that 29 machine. I'm sure you're going to be hungry as ever each race weekend and week out. And Keith, with this huge victory here tonight, as I mentioned, you lock yourself in, you win those two stages, so get some stage points as well. What's the mindset for next week? Is it just the same thing? You go out there and put that 29 in victory lane?
Just same thing. I mean, we can play with strategy a little more because I know that I'm locked into the next round, but same mindset. Come in and try winning the last two races in this round. I think it was 2 seasons ago. I won every playoff race other than the championship race when it counted. So hopefully we can put a good cap on the season, but we'll see. We'll see how the cards play. I just know that I ain't gonna sit back and relax. That's for sure.
Yes, sir, not at all. And as an animal, as a beast would, he's ready to eat every race that comes on the schedule. But here tonight, Keith, you put on a clinic at Richmond. You showed us all how to get it done here at this short track. And with that victory in Victory Lane, we'd love to give you that opportunity to shout out any sponsors that made this race victory possible or anybody you had watching you put on a clinic here tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks Stephen Thomas and Family Handyman for sponsoring the race. I was joking with him earlier that the last two times that he sponsored the Richmond race, I won. So big shout out to Stephen for sponsoring the race and handing some money out to guys that usually don't get it. That'll make them guys feel good. Dan's Top Notch Heating and Cooling, Blanchard's Towing, Grant Tactical Hydro Dipping and Printing. Bruzy Racewear, John Hedrick over at Over the Top Designs, everybody at Upfront Motorsports, all my teammates there. We had a good game plan coming into tonight, and I think we executed it pretty damn good. Then all the series sponsors, Triple M Pulling, Pulse Poppers, uh, Brady, and all the admins that put in a bunch of work putting this on and all the other different series that we do. Then you guys with Nazareth 360. I know I appreciate it, and I'm sure everybody else appreciates you guys showing up seems like every night broadcasting races. So
Well, we appreciate you, Keith, and you put on shows like that, makes our job easy up here in the booth. But again, it's Keith Bradley, the animal, the 29, with a huge victory here tonight. A big congratulations from us here, Keith, and cannot wait to see what you have in store for us as we head to South Beach next week at Homestead. Congratulations, and thanks
you
for
guys.
taking the
Have a
time.
good weekend.
Sir, and that was our race winner, Keith Bradley, in that 29 machine. He'll take home the victory here in the Family Handyman 420. And Brady, as we're wrapping up the broadcast here tonight, I'm going to have to bid adieu to you in the broadcast booth. It's a rare appearance that we get the boss man up in here. What would you think about the race here tonight?
Oh, I felt like it was a really good race to open up the playoffs for this sixth season of the Triple M Pulling Truck Series on Friday nights. We saw a couple of cautions. We saw, interesting to where we had some playoff drivers get in a little bit of a mess there. Robbie Richards, Adam Newbert, Taylor Peacock, excuse me. So we'll see if those guys can bounce back at Homestead, Miami next week.
Yeah, well, of course, we got Homestead and Auto Club still in the mix here in these top 20. Keith Bradley's going to lock himself in for that Nashville race there in the top 14. Once again, we want to thank everybody for tuning in to tonight's race here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. If you haven't done so already, we invite you to go check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Stay up to date. Go ahead and hit that like, share, subscribe button, all that good stuff to be notified every time one of these iRacing events that we put on here at Nazareth comes forth. We got that Pulse Popper Tuesday night series that's going on. Talking about getting a Wednesday night series going on. And of course, this Friday night series. You don't want to miss this here. Stephen Thomas there is trying to go back to back here in this championship run here. Again, we want to thank Stephen Thomas as well for kicking in a little bit of extra money into the prize pool here tonight, paying some of those guys there lower down on the grid. Again, making those drivers feel nice as well. Again, for myself, William Tiller, Brady LaBeouf, the boss man here at Nazareth, and Mr. Adam Flieger, the guy who's providing all those excellent shots here all night long. We want to wish everybody a great night. A huge congratulations to the animal, Keith Bradley, in the 29 machine for his victory here in the Family Handyman 420. Be sure to catch us next Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as it's round 2 of the Triple M Pulling Truck Series playoffs from South Beach Homestead, Miami Speedway. We'll see you there.